Let's see. There you are. Good morning. Getting arranged. There we go. Let's get 95 and 96 done. Over here. All right. Some more Inception Day today. All right. Good morning. One more set of thirds. All right. Let me fix this pencil. It's unglued or something up there. I have something out of my shop storage that I can pop in there to fix that up. I think it's supposed to do that. All right. As we good morning. Happy Saturday. Open. We are still working on Inception, so scene up top probably a bit more iconic from the movie, but some of these over here. This is one where the marketplace kind of explodes and everything freezes in the air, which should be interesting to draw. I've identified kind of the major stuff, so that becomes more solid, and then the chaos stuff be more chaotic. I should watch this movie again. It's funny, the movie's really it's a metaphor for filmmaking, which I always kind of have mixed feelings about media that's talking about itself, so meta media like that, where, it's not a movie about going into dreams, it's really a movie about filmmaking. It's a good movie, though, so, there's great stuff in there, but that always kind of sticks out when people make meta commentary. I mean, it wasn't as clumsy as some stuff I've seen, but still kind of one of those things that I notice. I'm like, does it really have to do that? Like I saw a movie not too long ago. It's by M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, I guess. About these these people stuck in a house in the woods, and there's something out in the forest of making them perform in front of them in the evening. Anyway, the window they have to stand in front of is shaped like a movie screen. You're like, oh, I get it. We're the monsters watching the movie. So I'm always a little leery of that kind of approach. Sort of between cropped. It's like I guess I thought that stuff was cool when I was a teenager. It's like, oh wow, this is a thing about the thing, but it's not really the thing that it is. But yeah, it's like in Inception, each of the characters is basically they're like a major kind of production team of a film. So like there's effects people and sound people and the cinematographer and all the different characters are basically representative of different different roles in the making of the film. We'll hopefully get some of those comic pages done today. But yeah, you'll see comics are doing that same kind of thing. It's a comic book about comics. So they're telling one story, but they're really kind of trying to tell a different story. I think for a lot of people that do that kind of thing, it's like it's a way of kind of intellectually justifying what they're doing, or trying to layer in kind of metaphors or allegories on top of it. It's not that it can't be done well. It's just that as soon as I kind of spot it, it just kind of annoys me. Yeah, Spawn. Was it issue 10 of Spawn with what's its face, the little character was called. I forget his name. But yeah, I remember reading that as a teenager when that came out. I was like, "Whoa, this is a comic book about comics." Um, yeah, Cerebus. That was like I think that was like the first issue of Spawn I ever read because I missed the initial run. Um, when it first started, I wasn't like a Todd McFarlane fan when Image launched. Like I hadn't really read much of the comics. I thought his faces all looked kind of doughy. I think there was like a crossover with X Force. I think at some point with Spawn, not Spawn, Spider Man. I think it was X Force, right? Before Image, which I was reading X Force, uh, but but I just remember looking like everything looked really kind of doughy. I thought I get why people liked it, but it was just like that was kind of my impression. Um, so I didn't follow it. So I got into it later. I did win the first was it year of Spawn or something like that at my local comic shop. It's like the only time I've ever won like a raffle thing. I was pretty excited about that. Finally got to read it because there weren't trade paperbacks or anything. Um, so um, bought over there. I saw a funny little AI story this morning. I didn't post it because it's a video on YouTube. Maybe I should toss it up there. But apparently, they're getting flooded on. So let me scrap this guy real quick. On Etsy with like AI patterns for making clothes, among other things too, but especially for clothes. And they don't work. Like they literally do not. You can't. If you follow the pattern, you will make it won't work out like the way that you anticipate. And like if it can't like put together a pattern to make a simple T-shirt or a poncho or something like that, or a skirt, like the most basic kind of sewing stuff. What do you think it's doing to servers or services or other things? Like it's just that are much more complicated. Um, but I remember hearing my mother complain about that like a year ago or so. I guess she's big into like lacing, like hand making lace. She's like she's won like awards and does participates in workshops. She doesn't do them on her own. She probably could, but she doesn't do her own. But she's big into that. Um, and she was complaining about that like a year ago. So I was talking about how bad it is at doing these things, and she's like, "Yeah, there's like this big thing right now. Where people are selling like fake AI lace patterns, and they don't work. Like it just doesn't work." And because in order for things to connect, it has to be really, really specific. It can't be generalized at all. But um, yeah, along that line, actually, with the data center thing, apparently there's a company where they make like AI podcasts, and they the podcasts go out to fake AI bots to look at them, I guess, and apparently they've made like they've got millions of listeners, but they've also generated like thousands and thousands of podcasts, which means they're getting like 60 listeners per podcast or something like that. It's this company that creates generative stuff like that. Yeah, dead internet theory. Um, Sam Altman's been complaining about that in Google. Like, we see a lot of problems on the internet right now. It's like, well, maybe check that mirror. So, yeah, well, I think the solution is to be authentic on the internet. Um, it's funny. There's a marketing guy I used to like to pay attention to, Gary V, because he had a lot of like interesting thoughts on using social media and that kind of thing, and how you put yourself out there. I thought he was a little overblown in terms of what he was recommending. Like 3 to 5 pieces of content per day, every single day, all the time. It's like, well, no one has energy or time for that. But he was a big booster for like metaverse stuff and then NFTs. He made some big money on one, and his was like this really stupid it's like a positivity friends thing. And he's like, we could do like a show with this, but he's been big on the AI thing lately, which is and without ever any kind of reflection on how wrong he was about the last two things that he was big into supporting. But yeah, it's just spam. That's the point I was going to make about it. But he was originally hesitant about it. I think he was worried about copyright issues. But yeah, there's been news recently, like with Oracle signing a 300 billion the B contract with OpenAI for OpenAI to rent their servers, and it's like, where are they going to get that from? They don't make any money. Or the opposite. Well, say to Gary Vee, one thing he's always talked about is just like being authentic, as being like like being straightforward about what you think online, and not kind of faking what you think or who you are or what you're about. Um, that's probably he's a marketer, so I guess maybe that's probably not entirely what he does, but that was always one thing I appreciated that he seemed to advocate for. Yeah, well, he does a lot of like speeches at like marketing conferences and stuff like that. And, yeah, he's definitely done some impressive things. Like he got on YouTube early, and he had a thing where he was helping his parents run their market their wine store, and so he kind of took them from being really really small to making lots and lots of money by using YouTube early on. So that was kind of his claim to fame. Um, he had like a little YouTube show for like wine tasting or something like that. Um, yeah, it was that, but it helped his parents' store kind of stand out and become very popular because they were like an immigrant family from I think Belarus. Came over in the '80s, but out in New Jersey. But and then he started his own marketing business after that he grew. So that's what's kind of interesting, I like entrepreneurial stories. But he was always advocating for like just being like saying what you think and doing that on online. But his lack of kind of self reflection on his recent mistakes. I think with the NFT thing, he'd have a hard time with that just because people paid him a lot of money to get NFTs off of him, and it's hard to back off of that. It's like, well, you're going to give us our money back? What? Like, because he might have actually fully believed in this, possibility the way he talked. Maybe I don't know, but because I knew a lot of people that did. Um, one person particularly did really well with it, but it's like I think it was OpenAI announced like they're putting 30 million into this AI movie. It's going to be the next Toy Story. That's how big of a deal it's going to be. And the thing is that Flow movie about that cat only cost $3.5 million. It didn't require any AI at all. So what are you trying to show? um, so yeah, it's been an interesting week. I saw an article that I posted in the too. I didn't see this earlier, but apparently the judge rejected certain aspects of the put on hold the trial that not trial but the judgment for the Anthropic um, judgment of that $1.5 billion to make sure that I guess all the parties were properly informed and had until Monday or something to do that this week or next week. So, which is interesting. I don't know if anything's going to come from that or not, but interesting if it canceled the settlement and they actually went to trial. Because if they won the trial, Anthropic would be on they would owe these authors around $1 trillion as a collective lawsuit instead of the $1.5 billion. Um, So yeah, well the thing is that's what they were litigating them, saying, hey, uh, you know, we're suing you for this, and they came to a settlement of $1.5 billion, but it's a class action lawsuit, and the judge wanted to make sure, I guess, that all the parties to the lawsuit were actually going to get paid or something like that. And it is the largest copyright settlement ever. $1.5 billion is a pretty sizable sum, but but the thing is, like, what they owed per violation would equal up to about $1 trillion. Um, and so that's interesting that they settled when, even if they didn't get much. I mean, $3 grand per book isn't that much. Some people are, maybe you might get like tens of thousands of dollars out of it just because they had a whole bunch of books that were processed through LibGen. But um, and then I guess Encyclopedia Britannica, they're suing Perplexity for a similar thing. It's gonna be interesting to see how these lawsuits all kind of work out over the next year or so. Yeah, at some point, yeah, one of these will. Like the Anthropic one didn't because they settled. So I think a lot of people were hoping they would push through. Um, but and then my university, they put out a statement on AI policy, and it basically said, don't feed it intellectual property, that isn't yours, and beware of university policies regarding privacy or what's it called, any kind of secret work that people are doing. And then also you're responsible for any inputs and outputs you use. So they're like, we just kind of wash our hands, and you do what you want to do, as long as it isn't illegal. It's up to you to figure out whether it is or not. Oh yeah. Yeah. But I thought my university's decision on that was kind of funny. It's like, well, it's kind of a non-statement. At least the relevant part. So, hello over there on Kick. Tragically don't read or speak Arabic. I hope you're having a good time over there. Hello. But yeah, what's important is if you find like visual inspiration like that you take advantage of. So it strikes you in the moment that you think might be uh, useful in your work or add something to it. It's important to kind of jump on that right away. Ah, but yeah, I think it's important to kind of snag on to inspirational sources that you find and use them because like so much of what goes on right now, like everything is so disposable in the moment. Like you're scrolling along and you just see so many things online all the time, and it's hard to know kind of what to really pay attention to a lot of the time. And I think you kind of use bookmarks or other things to kind of save things you find online, or if you're in the real world doing real things, paying attention to that. If you go to a play, bring your sketchbook. Say, oh, this thing that they did was really interesting, and I should maybe apply it. I know. Uh, why don't I talk about the traders in Palestine? I don't know about the traders in Palestine. That's what questions over on. This is an art stream, not a political stream. But wax is slotted in. This guy's getting annoying. Too dumb pen. So um, yeah, but I think it's important. Like I have bookmarks that I folders that I save on Twitter or on ArtStation or on Instagram for things to kind of go back to and look at with reference sources or stories or other things. So I don't entirely lose everything. Zipped by. got 4 more than so 2 days. I need a new jar of this. This thing's basically empty. I have to keep tossing water in here to keep it completely drying out. Yeah, I'd love to get back to the production of that comics thing. That's the big so, penciling it the other day, and then class day. We had a farewell to a someone who worked at the school for a long time in our department, one of our counselors. Decided to move on. Said they retired, but I don't think that's actually what's going on. But he's heading out. Explosions everywhere. Okay, that's pretty good. The outlines on these. There are 3 value notams in there. Let's see. Really like using these rapidographs. They're funny though. I wasn't drawing right for a while, and then I realized it was clogged. I had to unclogging the kit. Spent a bunch of time cleaning them out, um, which actually was okay because I had to get there's like a little called a wrench that allowed you to take apart the nib, and I did the kit I got used the pitograph collection thing I've got here. It didn't come with them, so there was a spot for them, but they were missing. And which is weird because like everything else was there. Like the ink bottle was full, and all the pens were there. Most of the pens had never even been used, but it was missing little wrenches. Still only has one. I don't know why it would need two, but it has one. But I doubt the only person that used it ever really needed to clean them before. This is the wrench, by the way. So it kind of locks on top of the pen, allows you to take the whole thing apart. And you get some special cleaner, and then there's one of these guys. This is specially designed to like work with the actual pen nibs. So basically, this piece right here will screw on different parts, or this part right here is designed to kind of go directly on top of the nib, so you can squeeze the solvent into the pen, and then remove whatever's been put inside. But it was an interesting process. I can see why it would be bothersome to people who use these all the time. Oh, look, another bot. Let's put that one over there real quick. These guys are just like, but anyway, there's my morning study. A little bit late, but 95, 96. So we're trucking right along. I've done a bunch of these. There's Joker, Shutter Island, Sicario, Drive, John Wick's movies, all that good stuff. So, anyway, thanks everybody that came in. I appreciate it, and we'll catch you all later.